Hello, viewers. Good morning. It's a new week, and of course, the 17th day of January 2022. It's another edition of our daily newspaper recap. I'm Ahana Promise by name, and with me?
I'm Kenneth Nzemeke.
With me is the Vanguard newspaper, which I'm going to be looking at the headlines this morning. First headlines: Conventions, 16 APC governors in Mark or May meetings.
And with me here is the Pointer newspaper. Bandits, Buhari orders full military operation in Niger.
Pension gap between the federal government state workers widens. Kenneth, please. We know that there is a gap between the federal government workers and that of the state workers because of pension issues. What's your take concerning this and encouragement to people out there?
Well, I feel that they have to do something about it so that the federal and the state workers, they will not feel cheated.
Okay. Federal and state workers, you have been encouraged this morning. The federal government, you have to step up your game to admonish these persons who are supposed to be receiving their pension and fill in the gap between the federal government workers and the state workers. Thank you so much.
Delta Church building collapse spot declared disaster sites. Now, promise, this site where the building collapsed the other day has been declared a disaster site. That means there will be public hearings on, what happened.
Yeah.
Do you think that will aid us to avoid something like that repeating itself?
To a large extent, of course, it will aid us because from the news we get in this morning that on Monday 24th and on Tuesday 25th of this month, there will be public hearing as regards to the collapse of the building of Salvation Ministry at Okpanam, Delta State. And also concerning that, I think the government are putting their hands together and the Ministry of Inquiries are putting all things together to make sure that investigations are going on and engineers are doing their best to whatsoever building they are constructing.
Okay, so we advise those that are into construction of buildings to always use the right materials and never compromise standards.
How NDLA spent 200 million on security votes without budgetary provisions.
DTSG gets pass mark on counterpart project execution.
Kano, IPOB reiterates no seat at home today, Wednesday and Thursdays. We found out that the Kano has declared that there should be no seat at home as regards to the former announcement that there should be seats at home on Mondays, on Tuesdays, and on Thursdays. And he's bringing up another publication now that there should be no seat at home. So what is your take concerning this?
It's good at least let them make the public aware of their decision,
okay,
so that some hoodlums will not take advantage of lack of information and start robbing people.
Okay.
So it's good like that.
All right, thank you so much. The reiteration of no seat at home on today, tomorrow, and on Thursday, it's a nice one because it will help indigents, it will help the citizens of that particular environment to cope with whatsoever they are doing and also to avoid gunmen attacking them in one way or the other. And also, be that today is Monday, it's a good one because today is the beginning of the week. People have to go to their various work places and business places. So it's a nice one.
Sarah Price Buhari seeks copy of agreement with Twitter. Finally, Twitter has been reopened again in Nigeria, and Sarah wants what was agreed between the federal government and Twitter.
Yes.
So what do you think? Do you think that federal government is hasty in just allowing Twitter to continue their operations in Nigeria or not?
Of course, there is no haste in there because looking at what they've said, there should be a public announcement and there should be an agreement, a public agreement between the federal government and the management of Twitter. So them coming up with this, that federal government should write a copy of agreements to them, it's a nice one because it will also help kind of an administrative way to help the Twitter management to pen it down that on a particular day the federal government came into an agreement with Twitter. Okay,
and we Nigerians are happy that Twitter is now operating freely once again. Thank you.
Police probe DPO over alleged involvement in illegal oil bunking.
Editorial: terrorism beyond identifying suspected sponsors.
Residents flee as headmen invade Delta community, destroying crops. Kenneth, please. We find out that residents of a particular region in Delta State community, they are flew from their comfort zone because of herdsmen invading their crops and also invading their lands. What's your advice to this, and what do you think how do you think the federal government can come to the aid of those in that community?
I think if the federal government deploy military people
Okay.
to aid the villagers, it will really help them, because these people last year the same thing happened
Okay.
to them, and they declared that they won't consume beef again. So I don't know why this is happening again.
Is it just declaring military people to help the community people? That's all.
I think first of all they need security, because the people are fleeing their village.
Okay.
They need security first of all, so that there will be peace.
All right. Also, to the communities that is affected by herdsmen, or the communities that the herdsmen are invading, they should please also seek redress once they notice any unforeseen occurrences, or once they notice occurrences that are not wholly per se. They should seek redress and also seek the opinions of policemen before it becomes a case of that is out of hand. Thank you so much.
Coping with school expenses, finances after Youth experts. So there's an expert here trying to tell people how to cope with their finances, after this period of the festive period.
Yeah.
And people will not have enough money to pay their school fees.
Yes.
To buy things necessary.
Yes.
So as this expert says, it says people should celebrate less.
Okay.
Yes, and spend less money. Do you always have issue after Youth period spending money?
Of course, as an individual, of course, so our parents are there. I've been under my parents' tutelage for some time now. They have issues once it's after Youth season, because a lot of money is spent during this Youth season, and school resumption, meeting up with the expenses of school, the necessary things that students have to resume school with. Find out that they find it very difficult. So my advice and encouragement to parents out there: it's a nice when we are celebrating our festive periods well and in an elaborate way. We should all also please mind the way we are spending during the Youth season, because the more you spend during the Youth season and not remembering that after the season comes school resumption, will cause a whole lot of problem to us. We should celebrate our Youth season on a low key so as to cope with the expenses that will come thereafter. Just like they say, January is like 2 months in 1 month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quickly, we are moving to the back page of our Vanguard newspaper. First headline: Egwavon, I will ring changes in Nigeria matches against Benin Bosua.
On the back page of the pointer, experts hints FG on how to make proposed subsidy removal a success.
African Cup of Nations, how loss to Nigeria help Egypt? Mo Salah says. What do you think concerning the loss of Nigeria has helped Egypt?
I think the Egyptians, after playing Nigeria, they discovered their faults.
Okay.
And they made the adjustment. That was why they had an impressive second match, and they came out victorious.
Okay. So you're trying to say that the Egyptians actually spot their mistake during their loss to Nigeria?
The first match was actually a trial for them.
Okay. Thank you so much. The Egypt losing to Nigeria has actually helped them to cope their mistakes and also to prepare for the next tournament, even as they came out successfully.
NDLEA seizes cash, arms, ammunition, 137.754 kg of narcotics in 7 states. It seems the NDLEA are really trying, and this problem of drug usage in Nigeria is increasing every time.
Yes.
So, do you think that they are underperforming, or they are meeting our expectations?
To a large extent, the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, they are meeting to their expectations, because they are putting in their best to make sure that they do their job dutifully, and also to save Nigerians from misuse of drugs and being drug addicts as per fixing themselves in drugs that are not really legally okay. Egypt, Sudan relocates to Yalda.
PIA will provide huge business opportunities for NNPC.
With this, we've come to the end of today's edition of our daily newspaper recap. Before we draw the curtain, I'll bring to your notice the matches for today as regards to the sports news. African Cup of Nations, Burkina Faso versus the Ethiopians by 5 p.m. The Cape Verdean versus the Cameroons by 5 p.m. also.
Words on marble. When you are in love, wonders happen. But once you get married, you wonder what happened. That is a nice one coming from Steve Jobs.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper, we have the Kosundo Gay and the World Cross. For those that are lovers of Kosundo and World Cross, you can quickly go through the back page and have fun. Thank you so much for watching. I remain Ahano Promise by name.
And I am Kenneth Izemeke. Have a nice day.
Don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channels, our Twitter pages, our Instagram pages, and our Facebook pages, The Experience Box TV Africa. Thank you.
Xpbtv, sharing educative and reliable news.